Hi everybody, welcome to the Truly Myrtle podcast. I have got an armful of goodies to show you today. I have got things on my needles, I have got things off my needles, I have got lots of things on the go, and I'm looking forward to showing you all. Let me just double check that you're all here. I can see YouTube is here. Is Facebook here? Is Facebook here? You're actually always a little bit slower, Facebook. For those of you who haven't visited me before, I'm Libby. I'm a knitwear designer from New Zealand. It's raining and it's not really that cold. It's actually just sort of outside. It's raining and damp and anyway, it's supposed to be winter. We have had the fire on. So far I can only see YouTube, but I'm hoping, here we go, there's Facebook. And on you come. This podcast beams out live every Thursday morning, New Zealand time. I don't know quite why you can't see the top of my head. Hang on, let me just adjust. We beam out live every week. Is that better? Can you see the top of my head? On YouTube and Facebook. So you can catch me in both those places. And if you want a reminder with a link to when I go live, go over to my mini mag, trulymyrtle.com/minimag, and I'll give you a link. It's so nice to see you all here. I'm looking at you in the chat. I love being able to talk to you so I can just sit down, take a breath, and just chat to you every Thursday morning. It's so nice. I'm also the founder of something called Wardrobe Toolbox, and Wardrobe Toolbox is like an online knitting club, and we do all sorts of fun knitting. We do a lot of different knitting, from shawls and socks and hats, but mostly we hone in on garments, and we focus on finding something we actually want to wear. We don't just get swayed by the picture and the pattern. Find something that we want to wear, find something that suits our shape and that accentuates the bits of us that we want to accentuate, and work out what size to choose, what yarn to use, and casting it on, and what modifications. We go all into that. It's really very fun. And we also have lots of inspiration. People come and visit us and share all their knowledge and expertise, and it's fantastic. So the doors are shut at the moment, sorry about that, but they will open again in September, and you can come and join us if you would like to in September. In the meantime, you can just head over to wardrobetoolbox.com and you can have a little read about it, and you can see what other people say about it. Barbara says, I've cast on Dolly this week and I'm just about to do the Rosebud Row. I nearly put on Dolly this morning, but then I thought, this one is just so nice and soft. This is Lynn's yarn. I can see Lynn is here. This is Lynn's yarn, and it's her Ziggy DK. It's right, isn't it, Lynn? And it's soft. And I think today I wanted something that was just a little bit more slinky to wear, because it's not that cold, but it's sort of cold enough. Hey, Daria from the night shift. Okay, let's just see you all. Icy in Sydney, 5 degrees. That is quite cold, Becky. It's not that here. I'm going to say it's about 18 here. It's really quite warm. Maybe it's less, but it's mild as mild. Hi, Marina. Nice to see you. Ruth's still down in Christchurch. It's cold in Canterbury. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lisa from Pulsebo, Washington. Nice. And you're outside. Oh, Diane, you're sitting outside in Southern California. Yeah, it's so nice. So nice when you get a bit of sunshine. Alrighty, you nearly wore yours today as well, Lynn. It's Lynn's yarn, this Ziggy DK. This is my double time cardigan, and it is the sister cardigan to Timely cardigan, which came out many years ago, and it's a little fingering cardigan that people have knitted. I have heard up to 5 times people have knitted that cardigan. She has 3/4 length sleeves, and she's just cute. She's a little Nigella cardigan. She sits open, and she's got little stripes, and you use a variegated yarn in the stripe, and that's what makes her so fun. And then people wanted a winter version, so I winterified it, and I made this version with longer sleeves, and I changed little aspects about her. I widened the rib. I kept that same neckline because we liked that. I added way more buttons. I lengthened her. I kept the waist shaping, but I made the ribbing at the bottom a bit shorter because she's got twisted ribbing. And I think that's all the things I did. I gave her a little bit more ease as well. So she's a close fit, but she's not like a negative ease like the original was. So she's good. She's a good winter. She's winterized. All right, I've got a pile of things. I've got all these things around me to show you. Where do I start? I'm going to start with something that is fresh off my needles, and my testers just got the pattern this morning. So this is new, and I don't know what's come over me. I think that I have finally discovered that there are pockets of time in my life because I have all these lovely people helping me, and it's, you know, it takes a while for things to happen, and we're out of the phase of the wardrobe toolbox doors opening and the new season, and those always take a lot of time for me, and teaching and traveling and all of those things, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, I'm just going to knit all the things. So that's what I've been doing, knitting all the things. And I've just cast off, not last night, but the night before, I cast off a new pair of socks. I've got an end because I'm debating, I think I might just redo the bind off one more time. So I've left a little bit of a tail. But I've cast off these new socks. These are called Petra, and they will be out. I'm actually thinking that we might do a bit of a Socktober this year. And so I've got a pair of socks that I did for the Bombed Yarn Sock Club. They'll be coming out in about a month. And then I've got these, and I've got another 2 ideas. So I'm thinking maybe we'll have a little bit of a Socktober. So at the moment, I thought, well, if I can get a couple more pairs done between now and September, then we can have a bit of a knit along, right? With Socktober. So these are called Petra Socks. They're toe up. I'm not going to make them all toe up. So don't panic. I know it's extremely polarizing. Toe up or bottom or top down. These are toe up. They are actually a great one if you are a knitter who likes to be entertained but hasn't done toe up socks. You're gonna love these socks, right? So you start at the toe and you work your way up. I'll tell you more about them as we go on, but she has this pretty little pattern that is all the way up, and it's all over pattern. And then I have incorporated the gusset and heel flap because that is my favorite, and I do that whether I'm doing toe up or top down. I don't think I'll change that. I think I'll always do that. Sometimes I have the pattern coming from inside the heel, but this time I thought, no, I don't think I want that. I think I want a smooth heel, and because there's a lot of pattern, and I just thought that's enough pattern. It pops out the top of your shoe. You've got a smooth heel. Anyway, they're Petra Socks. They will be out closer to October. So watch this space. I was quite pleased. I was so pleased because they're pretty quick socks once you get going. And I had an idea in my head, and I was playing around with it when we went to Dunedin just to try and get it right and exactly what I wanted. And I was really inspired for these ones because I did a top at the end of last year for Wardrobe Toolbox called Sweet Melody, and I used that little stitch there where you go, you know, things open out or they close up, and I did it upside down in Sweet Melody, and I really liked that. And I also, well, I like a rib sensation in a sock, and I just, just one thing led to another, and eventually I got here. I got to this little pattern where I put in some eyelets, and then I closed up the little thing again. They're like little pebbles all the way up the sock. So anyway, I'm quite pleased with them. They're very sweet. I use some interesting yarn. I use yarn from my stash. I am really, really going for it with my stash. So this is concerning to people because you may not be able to get the yarn, and I am going to talk to you about how you can substitute yarn from your stash too, or that you might find something that you just fell in love with, and you could buy that. I am going to use more of my stash, and you'll see today I'm really doing that. But this yarn I had in my stash for ages. I've only got one sock. That's why I have so much yarn left. The other sock is coming. But this yarn I had in my stash, it's from Plucky Knitter. Now I think they do a base like this. This is my little notebook where I keep all my working things. They still have a sock yarn, but it may not be this sock yarn because I bought this eons ago. I'm really keen to get through some of this yarn. It's called Primo Fingering, Plucky Knitter. Primo Fingering. So Plucky Knitter is based in the US, which will be happy for those of you in the US. And it is a superwash merino cashmere nylon. Now at the time, that's $75.25. So it's a luxury sock yarn. It's beautiful, beautifully soft. It's Interesting weight though. This one is 385 yards. I can't remember what that is in meters, but it's 385 yards. And so to me, it's knitting. It's just a slightly thicker sock yarn. Now, it doesn't matter. You can sub out a sock yarn and be fine. But I think their new, Primo fingering is actually a little bit longer. I used a 2.25 Lin. I wanted something because it was quite. I just wanted it to pull in and be a little bit denser. So I used a 2.25. And yeah, so you can sub out another sock yarn. And there are 3 sizes in the pattern. There will be 3 sizes in the pattern. So you will be able to manage it. But beware. Watch this space. If you want to start using your stash, I am going to help you do that. Because I think we have beautiful stashes. And look, I have all this yarn behind me. I just want to use more of it. And so that's what I'm going to do. Like, I continue to buy yarn. That's not going to stop. I've just already bought so much yarn this year. I will continue to buy yarn. But I am keen to help you figure out how to make changes in your stash. It is something we talk about quite a lot in Wardrobe Toolbox, substituting yarn, because, you know, sweat a lot of yarn is a big lot to buy, and so it can be nice to think, what have I got already that I could use for this? And I think the biggest thing about it is, how is that yarn going to behave, and is it what you're expecting? And that's the biggest thing. And once you figure that out, the world is your oyster. Okay, yeah, so it's 352 meters. So it's quite a bit shorter than your kind of bog standard 400 meter skein. It's not a sport weight, but it's definitely on the heavy side of a fingering. So anyway, they're really, they were fun. They were the kind of, I was saying to Mr. Myrtle, actually I've got a couple of knits like that. They were the kind of knit where you just think, oh, I'll just do a little bit more. I'll just do another little pebble. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to whip through the next 18 rows, these pebbles. I'm just going to do another 18 row pebble. And then before you know it, you have a finished sock. So that is good. All right, let me just see. Oh, thanks, Beth. You like my sweater. This is my double time sweater. Heather said, I've got heaps of opal. You know, I was talking to Ethan the other day, and he mentioned about people having opal and having a patterned yarn and thinking about something that could be useful for those patterned yarns. So I don't have any opal, but I do have a variegated skein that I was planning to use. And so I think I will aim, I've got an idea for that. But introducing some more of those slightly variegated-y sort of skeins would be quite good, I think, because I think we all have those. Michelle said, I've been trying to use my stash. Unfortunately, the sweater I've been working on isn't working with the yarn, so I had to order a different yarn. I'm not quite the right direction for the stash. It happens all the time, doesn't it? Because I think we buy things when we're in a certain mood, and then we move on from the mood. But it would be nice to go back to that mood, I think. And there are ways, I'm sure we can do it. I'm going to do it. And so you watch me. I recently received some yarn from a friend who suddenly passed away. I'm really sorry to hear that, Becky. But there was so much yarn that she didn't get a chance to use. Please use your stash, ladies. I think so. I think, especially at the moment, you know, everything's so noisy. I find the whole world is just so noisy. And I just feel like going to my stash somehow reduces the noise for me, because there I have this limited range of options. And you know what? I'm going to make it work. That's what I'm feeling like. I'm going to make it work. I can do this. I can get creative in my own stash. So I have been loving doing that. Let me show you the next thing. So the next thing I got on my needles, actually this is hilarious, because last week I said to you, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of beige. I think I said, I'm so over the beige. I'm so over the cream, whatever. I just like, oh, give me color. I said that, and then I instantly cast on a jersey and this. I was like, whoa, you know how when you say things and then you don't want to do it anymore? Anyway, it wasn't quite like that, but I had an idea of a jersey I wanted, and I had a look through my stash, and I had this from Manos, Alpaca Heather, and I was after soft. I just wanted something that was soft and kind of light, and this is a natural dye. It's like not a dye. It's because it's hand dyed colors, but this is called Toast. It may well be dyed, but it's very natural. It is 70% wool, 30% alpaca, and it is 150 meters per 50 grams. So it's about 300 meters per 100 grams. It's like a sport weight. And I had that, and I've been wanting to use this for ages, and I just didn't know quite what to do with it. But anyway, I hunted around and I thought, I think I want to put it with some mohair. I have this, this is just like, I just had a fancy. And so I went with the fancy. And I would like something very simple, very, very simple, that is just got a little bit of detail and or some key details, and is very soft. And I want it to be roomy. I want to slop a jumper on. I wanted a slop on jumper. I have really enjoyed, it's on the back of my chair over there, I have really enjoyed the new haberdasher cardigan that we made for wardrobe, that I did for Wardrobe Toolbox this month. I wore it last week, and it's the pumpkiny, rusty coloured, sloppy cardigan. Oh my gosh, I've really enjoyed it. And so I thought, I just fancy a sloppy jumper. I can throw it over jeans, I can throw it over a dress, just something easy to wear. That was my feeling. So I went to my stash and I thought, okay, actually I went to this first. I think I went to mohair, and I looked to see what mohair I had which was enough to make a sweater. And I don't have that much, actually. That is something I will get more of. That's my mohair box up there. Look, it's getting a bit low now. It's kind of lace weight and mohair. It's not a lot in there. Could be bigger. So I want to see these boxes go down and then they can go up. Anyway, I have this beautiful one from Yarn Floozy, and it's called Chai Latte. And I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty. I like the little subtle speckles through it. It's subtle, and I thought a pattern wouldn't get lost in that if I put that with something. And so then I hunted around, what have I got that could go with it? And in the end, I decided I had that. So it's a very beige jersey, but I think it'll be fabulous, because it will just have a little colour pops. It'll be just incredibly soft with the alpaca. And so I've put them together, and I don't quite know how I got here. Sometimes I don't know how I get to the place I got to. I have my little notebook, I have everything in my little notebook here, and somehow I got to this. I pulled out my Stitch dictionaries. I've got a really old Stitch dictionary. It's the kind of one that your mum had. It was like the only Stitch dictionary that your mum would have had when you were a kid, if you lived in New Zealand or possibly Australia. And it's those long, those long skinny ones like that. And they have everything in them, from here's how you cast on, which I think is only a cable cast on. I actually don't know if they show you how to do any other cast on. They might. I've never noticed. They say, here's how you bind off. Here's how, they tell you all the basics. They also include crochet. And then in the middle, there's a little section where you have some different stitch patterns. They also talk about cables. There's all sorts of things in them. And I have one of those, and it's from the very early 80s, if not late 70s. And they're tall. I haven't got it here. It's actually inside. I should have brought it to show. I'll show you another time. But I opened that because sometimes there's some treasures in there. And I think, again, it's a case of, don't give me too many options, because it's overwhelming having all these options. It's too noisy. Don't give me all the noise. Just keep things quiet and show me just a few things, and I'll choose from that. And then sometimes I actually think the biggest magic comes when you narrow down your focus. Well, for me anyway, I'm finding that quite a lot. So I went through, I did some swatching. That must be inside because it's not out here. And I decided, oh yeah, I quite like this. I was like, boom, I'm going to go with it. Just like it. I'm going to do it. So I've cast on this jumper. I've kept it very, very simple in terms of the design and everything. It's a yoked sweater. I should have put it on longer needles, but I haven't. It's a yoke sweater, and I've used this little pattern at the top here. And it's, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it so well. Hopefully you can. It's one of those ones where you slip one, knit one, yarn over, lift the slip stitch over and drop it. That's it. And then I'm just doing little sections of it with my increases in between. And Lynn, every time I do one, I think of you. I'm doing a lifted increase, so it's beautifully invisible. My increases through here, they're really nice and invisible. And this is how it is knitting up. It looks like nothing at the moment. It looks like it's going to be a neck warmer, but it's not. It's going to be a yoke sweater. It's got a ton of ease in it. I've got nice full sleeves. I'm going to do this at the ribbing and the cuff. I'm going to have a straight sleeve. I want it to just poof out, but not out. I want it just to poof and then pull in. And I just want some room in the body. And I might split the hem. I might make the back longer than the front, but I'm not sure. I haven't got there yet. But it's going to be, there's got one more of these, one more of this. So it's simple. And for the neck, I'm going to do just a simple rolled stockinette neck. I'm not going to go overboard with the detail at the neck, but we are going to pick up on this little detail at the bottom. So she's just going to be easy peasy. So if someone says, are you feeling a little bit cold? You say, I'm feeling a little bit cold. I'll just grab that really cozy jumper. I'll just grab that one, that really cozy, put it on. Doesn't matter what I've got underneath, and I'll be warm. So that one is incredibly addictive. This is incredibly addictive. I cannot believe how potato chippy it is. I said to Mr. Myrtle the other day, it's very potato chippy. He didn't know what I meant. And what that means is you just have another one, and I just have one. I just find myself just having another one. So again, this was one where I knitted this so fast, and then I ran out of, I've got mohair. I've run out of one of these. So I've run out of this because I used obviously some for swatching. So I've just wound myself a ball, getting ready for the next one. And I've got that much mohair left. I thought I had 3 of these, but I don't know where. Maybe I used one of these. Oh, maybe I have got 3. Maybe there's another one inside. Anyway, fingers crossed, right? We'll get there. Anyway, this is going to be I cannot wait to have that one done. That will be done quite soon, I think, because I'm just going to knit and just pop it down and then pick it up and pop it down in between some other things that I'm working on. Yeah, so that one's going to be quite good. Let me see your comments anyway. It's going to be so warm. Alpaca and kid mohair. That's what I want, Lynn, but not tight. I wanted it just to be a layer, like a warm layer that you could wear not a lot underneath. And because... you could wear anything underneath, but not a lot, because it's so soft. You could wear it against your skin beautifully. And then, I'm hoping it'd be really nice. I'm hoping, anyway. That's what I'm feeling like. Oh, good, you like it. Excellent. Oh, good. Barbara's loving her Haberdasher Street Cardi. You've worn it every day, nearly every day this week. Me too, Barbara. And I think it's partly the yarn that I used. It's like velvet, and I'm definitely going to do something else in it. And I think the first thing I might do in it is a hat. And Lisa showed us a beautiful cowl that she'd knitted in it. I thought, I fancy a cowl on that. That'd be nice. But I think I'll do a hat first. Because I've got some of the other colours, and it's Splendor from Lisa Craig at Burnt Hill Designs, and she ships all over the world for a really reasonable price, we discovered. And anyway, so the yarn is like velvet. It is so beautiful to wear. It's heavy. It's a big garment. It is a heavy garment. It's very warm. It's lovely. You could put a colourful mohair over it to give it a colour pop so it's not beige. Well, I've just done it very subtly, very, very subtly, Amanda. So you'll see it's got, I think overall it will be pretty because it will have just little pops of gold and little pops of raspberry all the way through it. And then, of course, the areas of the silk that hasn't dyed gives it a white fleck as well. So I think overall it'll just be it'll still be beige, but it'll be a step up from beige. And I'll just wear bright lipstick and some mascara. I need color when I'm wearing things like that, because I just turn into the same color. I'm all the same color. So that would be good, I think, once I get it done. You'd love to see those sock again. Oh, I'll show you the sock again. Here we go, Peggy. There's the sock again. So it's not out yet. I just cast it off the other night. Oh, it's so nice to be able to show you some other things, because I have got a wardrobe toolbox knit on my needles and I can't show you that. So everyone's getting that soon. I just cast it off night before last, and it was fun. It was fun. It's actually nice doing some little projects, because they just happen quickly, and then that's quite satisfying, isn't it, to have some little ones as well. The variegated yarn in your cardigan, was it sock yarn? I found sock yarn in smaller stripes comes through as a blocked colour. Is there any way you can avoid it? Well, mine wasn't actually gay. So in this cardigan and in my original Timely, they were a hand-dyed variegated skein. And the thing about it is, if you find sock yarn and smaller stripes come through as blocked in colour. Yeah, I think it depends. You see, you'll have a slightly different colour pooling on your sleeves as you will for your body, because it's a, you know, a smaller circumference versus a larger circumference. But I think I didn't use a sock yarn. I used a yarn that was very speckled. It had a lot of little speckles in it, and I think when the speckles are short, then you don't get that pooling. We actually had a really interesting masterclass inside Wardrobe Toolbox with Sarah from Bombed Yarns, and she talked about how to read your skeins. And so she talked about having long sections of colour versus short sections of colour. And of course it made perfect sense, you know. If you have a very short little strip of colour like that, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 stitches. Just like in my mohair here. You see, I've got like this little tiny pop of dark that's just there. Well, that's probably going to be 1, at most 2 stitches. But whereas a longer little section like the yellow, that might be 3 or 4 stitches. And if you get something that's really lots of long sections in the yarn, you have to unravel it to see what's happening around the skein. But if you get long sections, they are going to pull, because you're going to get a whole lot of the same colour. And then if it's, you know, depending on how your circumference goes, you might come back to it on the next line, and then you get all those stitches again. So you can have a look and see how many. I would recommend for something like this, well, Lynn might be able to say what she did, but for something like this, you might be able to talk to the dyer and look for little strips, right? Is the beige alpaca yarn a fingering woolen yarn? No, it's a worsted spun, and it's a sport. But I think you're going to be able to sub it out. I'm using a 4.5 needle, I think. What did I use? Yeah, 4.5. You know what? I know everybody uses these massive needles for some of these knits, and they like these really big stitches. I'm not a huge fan of that. Well, not yet. I still like things to have a reasonable feel to them. So this is, you can sub it a DK. You'll be able to sub a DK for this. But I'm using a 4.5, so it's just has a little bit of room to it. It's like a plump DK, but I didn't want a big holy garment. I find they just don't last. So I wanted something that I can just beat around, you know. I bought the Splendor yarn from Woolfest this weekend. Oh yay, good on you, Lisa. It's beautiful, isn't it? Are you going to release the beige sweater you're knitting as a pattern? Yeah, I am, Carmel. It's all written up, actually. I've written the pattern. I'm following the pattern at the moment and making tweaks and adjustments and corrections as I go. That's how I do it. I swatch. Sometimes and I start writing the pattern, and sometimes I won't have a blurb, or I don't have all the notions or anything at first, but I just get the guts of it in there, and then sometimes I go back and change it, and then I will sometimes get to a point and think I'll decide that when I get there. Otherwise, I can just go through and I can blast out the whole thing. And in fact, this one, I've written the entire pattern. It is all written, and now I'm knitting it. But there's just a couple of things like how long do I want to make my cuffs? Maybe I'll adjust that slightly when I get there. Or how long do I want to do my hem, and do I want to split in the hem? That kind of thing. Or I can adjust it, but it's all written down. So I find that a much easier way of designing, and it's written down for all the sizes, because then I know it's going to work for all the sizes. So I sit there and I think about how much ease am I going to do, and what kind of increase am I going to do for the last one to make sure it works for the different sizes. And you know, anyway, so I've done that. So yes, it will be a pattern. It'll come out hopefully soon, hopefully not too soon. I mean, hopefully not too long away. Hopefully it'll be reasonably soon. I have your Truly Myrtle yarn in the gold, and I have a beautiful deep charcoal. I must go mohair shopping. I think you must go mohair shopping, Amanda. Yeah, I think this would be a nice one for the Truly Myrtle. If you have the sport weight yarn, it'll be beautiful. Oh, thank you, Diane. You love the sock pattern. Peach Fuzz from Adagio Alpaca Mills in New South Wales is divine. So squishy. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't tried that one. I might have something from Alpaca Mills, but I haven't tried that one. Okay, there's so many I want to try, but I just need to get rid of some of this first. Oh, you're wearing Dolly today, Lindley. Oh, that's so nice. It's a chilly lake. Now, my mum told me how I'm supposed to say this the other day. Macquarie. Is that right? Macquarie. New South Wales. 3 test knits at once. I know, because you've already got 2. You're about to get, and I will give you this one shortly, and then I've got another one coming, and and I've thought of another one. Speckles are very small and no more than 1 to 2 stitches. The yarns that are tonal or kettle dyed are more likely to give what I call caterpillars, or a colour of several stitches. Okay, that's from Lynn, and she's a dyer. She dyed the yarn for this cardigan. So she's talking about speckles. So if you want something that doesn't pull, go for the little speckles, and then they will be no more than 1 to 2 stitches. If you have yarns that are tonal or kettle dyed, so they have long stretches of colour, then they're more likely to do pulling or have these sort of long caterpillar lengths. And I'm using 4.5s. I will tell you all of this soon. I'll be back to tell you all of this news. I wanted to show you something that I bought the other day before I go on to the next thing that I cast on last night, which is a little bit different. I bought these. I have to smell them every time I hold them. I bought these. We were out shopping the other day. It was my daughter's 18th birthday. It's my third daughter. No, it's my second daughter, my third child. Honestly, how can they grow up so fast? I just can't believe it. Anyway, she's 18. And we went looking for things, and we ended up in a shop, and I saw these. And you know how you always, when you're looking for someone else, you end up buying things that you need as well. Anyway, I saw these and I thought, look, I know I can make them, but actually these are really smelly. And I've given one to one of the girls. She's whipped it. But I'm putting these in with my stash because they smell so strongly of cloves. I'm pretty sure there's lavender in there as well. But there's a really strong clove smell. And they're soft and squishy, and I'm going to stuff those in with my stash. I have got soap in there, but I'm always looking for more smelly things. I have also got lavender bags in there, but I'm sticking them in. I'm going to just nestle them into that stash. I could put them with some of my jumpers, but I'm not sure I want to smell like this. It's quite potent, the cloves. It's beautiful. But I think I'll put them in with my stash just to keep my stash safe from the moths. So I thought, keep your eyes peeled, people. For those of you who are in New Zealand and Australia, I imagine, I got them from Bed Bath and Table. I think that's what it's called, Bed Bath and Table. And they have little piles of them. They only have these 2 patterns. They come in groups of 3. That one and that one. And of course, you don't have to buy them. You could make them, but... and look, they're so quick and easy. You just go around them with your overlocker, but you have to get all the stuff for the inside. And I just thought that was quick and easy, and I'm going to put them in my stash. Hi, Natasha from the UK. She started and ended your day knitting in the garden with my urchin, with the birds this morning, and the bats came out this evening as I finished. That sounds quite nice, Natasha. I like the sound of that. Oh, I know. Well, I think we're heading to our shortest day. Mr. Myrtle said to me this morning, when is the shortest day? It must be soon, because it was still dark this morning. We were lying in bed looking out the window, contemplating getting up. And I said it will be the next weekend. Shortest day, 22nd of June, 21st, 22nd of June, my parents' wedding anniversary. And but in the UK, it's the longest day. So we're getting there. But of course, what we have to remember down under is that we get to the shortest day. And actually, you have to remember too in the Northern Hemisphere. You get to that shortest day or the longest day. When you get to the shortest day, everybody, it gets colder after that. I do remember that in the UK. You're thinking, get to the shortest day. It's been the shortest day. And then suddenly January comes and February comes and then you're freezing and it just gets really, really cold. So, yes, we're looking forward to a bit more colder weather down here. And you're going to get warmer weather, hopefully, up there. Gay says, I'm definitely going to keep looking for the right wool. Speckles is the look I want. I can't find the right colour though. Thanks for the idea to contact a dyer and ask for something custom. Yeah, I would. I'd go and ask a dyer. And you could give them, you could look through what they've got. You could maybe, even if you had a look into Ravelry to see some of their, if you go to Ravelry and you do a search for that yarn, you might see old projects that people have got that have used their yarn. And so you could pull up one of those photos and say, can you do me this one again? Because they will have a recipe. Maybe they might have a recipe for it. So you could do that. Okay, last thing I wanted to show you today was next week I'm bringing out Rita. Next week on Friday, so I'll talk to you about it next Thursday. This is my favorite of my Ritas. I've got 2 Ritas. I've got a lime green one as well. I'll show you them next week. But Rita is a little vest. Look, she's super short. She's another one that has mohair in it. So obviously I'm in a mohair phase. But she is perfect, especially for me at the moment because I'm getting so hot. I was hot, then I stopped getting hot, and now I'm getting hot again. So I'm getting hot. So anyway, I'll work that out. But she's perfect because obviously she doesn't have sleeves, and she just gives you that nice little layer of warmth that you want. And I knitted this one. This was a secondary idea when I made it. And the first one I used a bulky yarn, and this one I used a DK and a fingering and a mohair lace weight held together, and I love it. And you can see all the color pooling in that. It's got this lovely stretch to it. I just love this little top. And I thought, do you know what? It's not often I knit myself a second top of the ones I've got. I have done it before, but not often. I usually don't have time to knit a second one. But this is, pretty sure it's 12 stitches to the inch. No, 12 stitches to 4 inches. I'm pretty sure it's 3 or 4 stitches. No, maybe it's, I can't remember. Anyway, it's not many stitches to the inch. And I thought, I'm going to knit another one. I just fancy another one. So in readiness for next week, and I'm hoping it'll be finished by then so I'll be able to show it to you, I have found in my stash, I found some yarn. And I thought, oh, I'm going to use yarn I already have. So I found, and I thought I fancied, well, I didn't know what I fancied, but in the end I fancied bluesy greens. So I grabbed this one. Now this has been unraveled from something I made years ago. I don't know if you can get it anymore. I think it's called, I should have brought the thing. I'll tell you next week. I think it's called Luma, but then I think that might be the cotton blend. Anyway, it's from Fibre Company. I'm pretty sure they don't do this anymore, and it's quite a nice thick DK worsted weight yarn. So I've got quite a lot of that I was going to do something with years ago. It's got a heap of alpaca in it. I'll tell you the actual details of it next time. And then I have this funny little skein of hand spun, and I don't know what's going to happen when I get to the middle. I don't know what it's like in the middle, and I can't even remember when I did it. And it's very fine. It's very, very fine. This is not a fingering. This is much finer. And I thought, well, if this is worsted and this is fine, they'll be fine to go together. And then I found in my stash some mohair silk. And that is from Circus Tonic. And I got that a while ago. So I thought those three together. What I actually ended up doing, I haven't got it here. Left it inside. I ended up doing a swatch because I had another mint green mohair, and I tried both. I tried holding them together with the mint green and holding them together with that, and I much, much preferred this one. Much preferred the pale blue. So this skein started a little bluer, and now it's gone very green. So I don't know. Look at the inside. It's like super green. I'm just crossing my fingers I've got enough yarn, but I think I do, because I'll show you what I've managed to do already, and I've got that much left. So I'm winging it. I'm completely winging it. I don't really know how it's going to go, but I think it'll be fine. And I haven't put this on a larger needle, and I probably should have, but last night, I cast this on reasonably late last night because I was knitting on something else. I was swatching, that's right. I was swatching something else, and I put that down because I finished it, and then I thought, oh, I'm going to cast on this. Look, it looks tiny, but it's not going to be tiny because it ends up being, you see the back of this actually looks quite tiny. That's what I've knitted, the back section. So once I block it and it stretches out and everything, I haven't really been that precise about what my gauge is. I've measured it as I've gone, and so far I'm doing quite well for stitches. It looks right. And my rows and my stitches, they look bang on. So you can see it started at the very top, it's a little bit more blue, but as I've gone down, it's turning more green. And I really love it, actually. I'm loving the blues and greens. And every now and then I look at it and I think, they used to say blue and green shall never be seen, or something like that. And I thought, oh, well, those days are gone. Anyway, that is the back so far. I'm up to the underarm increases. I have a handful to go, not even a handful. A few more to go, and the back is finished. So that was like half an evening. That'll be finished, and I will be able to pick up the tops of the fronts, and I should be down to the armholes on both the front and the back by sometime this evening, I think. So I'll keep going with that one, and I think I'm going to really enjoy it, just as another nice little layer. So the Rita vest looks like it could be worn by a man. I think it probably could. I think probably could. It has a feminine feel with the mohair in it. I think if you did it in a bulky yarn, then it probably could be okay for a guy. It's got no, I think it could. The other thing you might want to contemplate is you could talk to the person you're making it for. I think I would do a single yarn though, or at least just 2 smooth yarns. I don't know if I'd add the mohair. Or maybe you could. I mean, you'd have to talk to them to see what they like to wear. I don't think Mr. Mohair would want to wear the mohair. Mr. Mohair, did I say that? Mr. Myrtle. I don't think he'd want to wear the mohair. And of course, if you showed them the pink one, they're probably not going to want that. But because the stitches are so big for this one, I ended up doing this low scoop neck. But some of the stitches are an odd number, and some of the sizes are an odd number, and some of the sizes are an even number. And in order to do the V-neck, you could do with an odd or an even number if you wanted to change it to a V-neck, because you could do but I couldn't do it for all of them in one pattern. It would end up looking different, because you would have the even numbers, you'd have an even split, and then you would have your V coming up the middle. If you had an odd number, you could use that central stitch as the center of your V, which I like, and I would like that, but it was just ended up being all a bit much, because trying to get all the side, anyway, I didn't end up doing it. But you could do a V if you wanted, and that might make them feel like it's a little bit more masculine. But otherwise, I don't see why not. And you probably don't want to crop it either. You probably want to do it a bit longer. But yeah, I don't see why not. You probably could. Just a few tweaks, I think I would. Gay, Forster, Georgie, Buckingham, Adaya and Victoria, the Woolly Goose, does a speckled yarn in fingering or DK. Oh, that's nice to know. There we go. So people looking for speckled yarn. Oh, good. You wore your Rita on the weekend. Yeah, lots of the dyers. You're telling me about lots of dyers that do custom dyeing. I think ask them. Rita's on my list because I'm all about quick knits. Amanda, yes. What's the maths of combining yarns? 2 fingering equals a worsted. A fingering plus a weight is a DK. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. 2 fingering. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. And for those of you in Wardrobe Toolbox, I'll talk about it a little bit more next week. But for those of you in Wardrobe Toolbox, we have got, when we got Rita in there, I did a lesson about combining yarns and knowing quite what you were getting, and also about the dominant yarns as you were doing it. So I'll try and remember to pull out some of that stuff and talk to you about it next week and show you some of the little swatches I did. It was so interesting. It was so interesting to work it out. Anyway, this is where I've got to with this one. And look, you can see when I give it a nice tug, and you can see when I block it, this is going to stretch out and it will be a lovely little vest. So I'm feeling quite excited about that one because it's so quick. Yeah, so quick. So quick. So that'll be really good to get that one finished. So I'm hoping, cross all your fingers and your toes, that next week I'll be able to show you this, and then hopefully not long after that I'll be able to show you that, and then I've got some other ideas in there. I've actually got, Lynn, you can give me, I bought off you a couple of years ago some orange. Do you remember I got some orange from you? And it was a fingering, and I got a matching mohair, and I'm quite tempted to do something with that. So if you could, I don't know we could talk about when I could put it out so that you don't feel totally overwhelmed, but I've got that in there as well as something I'd like to do. It's this beautiful orange. I thought, oh, I'm rather fancy. If I'm going to go colour, I rather fancy an orange jumper. I've got an idea of mine. Oh yeah, you've just found something delightful on Fibre to Go, Gay. Brilliant. And Rita is very quick, says Barbara. She knitted hers in 3 days. I know, she is super quick. Fantastically quick layer that you will wear. You will just wear it to death. Well, I certainly do. I just love that vest. Inferno. Can't remember the name of it, Lynn. I can't remember. All I know is I bundled it up. I saw it there and I was like, oh, I could do something with that. And I bundled it up and I put it into one of those little organza bags. That's how I'm arranging my projects these days. I have these bags, and so I've got organza bag and I put it in that, and because then I can see what's in it and it doesn't get dog hair on it, which is everywhere in my house at the moment. And I have a big tub. I'll show you one day. I've got a tub that I bought at somewhere like the Warehouse or Mitre 10, and it's a grey canvas pop-up thing, and it's like that, like a tub, and I have all my ideas in that tub, and I put books into it and I lug it back and forth. I did have a basket, but it just got too small, so I've got this tub, and so I've put it in there so I can sit there at night when I'm on the couch and I'm doing my knitting, and I just look at it and think, what do you want to be? I have an idea. I've written down some ideas of what it wants to be. I think I wrote them in my book of some thoughts, or maybe I wrote it on the back of another pattern. I don't know where I wrote it. I wrote it somewhere. Anyway, back to stash busting. Oh yeah, you're happy to do that. Brilliant. We've got a couple in mind, haven't we? So I've got to do that other cardigan with you, or jumper. I haven't quite decided. Diane knitted hers in homespun. I know. Well, I haven't used enough. No, I have used some, but not for myself. Homespun. And now I'm really keen, because as the winter comes, I'll be getting back to doing a bit more spinning, and so I'm really keen to use my homespun. So I thought, I don't remember when I spun this. I don't remember what it is. I don't remember when I did it. I don't remember anything about it, except it feels like it's probably Corriedale. That's all I know. So it's in there. Those bags are fabulous. I put them in a vacuum seal bags, and then the fabric totes is perfect. Oh, that's a good idea, Diane. Yeah, I've got lots of them, because I had them when I had the yarn, and so I have big ones and little ones, and I thought, I'm just going to use those, and I can literally just grab skeins of yarn and bung them in, and then I've got them in these bags, and they don't get dog hair on them. And yeah, so that's how I do it. Let me see what else you're saying. Manda says she's got a gorgeous single spun yak that's looking for a single skein shawl. Okay, I did pull out. I can't get ahead of myself. I've got to try not to get ahead of myself. I get very excited, and then I get ahead of myself, and so I kind of try not to do that. But I have got, there is a stitch pattern in a Japanese stitch dictionary, and I have always loved it. I try not to. I do sometimes, but I try to tweak patterns or make things up myself. Sometimes I just pull them out of stitch dictionaries. I've done that plenty of times, but I do try to have a tweak. Anyway, I decided the other day, I was thinking about this pattern, this particular pattern that I absolutely love, and I've never used it, and I thought, I'm just going to do that pattern. I'm just going to do it. That's what I feel like. I'm doing a lot of, that's what I feel like, so I'm going to do it anyway. And so I want to do a soft something for around your neck that has, and I'm going to use that pattern, and I thought, actually, that pattern's a nice one. I could put it in a few things. I don't even care that it is the pattern, and I just love the pattern. I'll show it to you when I get round to it. But I did look at my stash, and I have some yarn queen, skein queen from the UK. Skein queen enchant, I think, is the name of the base, and it's got baby alpaca, and I think it's got a bit of silk. I made a cardigan out of it. I don't know, how old's Tessa? I made a cardigan out of it when she was 2. She's 16. So I made a cardigan out of it a long time ago, and no, she's 15, so that long ago. And Audrey and Unst, I made the Gudrun Johnson cardigan. Anyway, I made it out of cream, and I bought myself this beautiful minty, like kind of a sagey minty sort of green colour. It's not really sage. And I thought, I could do it with that, because I was hunting through. I'm hunting through my stash. I'm really hunting through my stash. I'm thinking, what is the look that I want? And in that case, it was very, very soft, a little bit slinky, so it has good drape. But I want the halo, but I didn't want the mohair halo. I want and I think I want an alpaca halo. So that's what I was steering towards, to find something that's going to work for that. So I've grabbed that out. It's in an organza bag. I thought I could actually, because what I thought was, I could do a hat with that. I could do like a beret with that pattern on it. And I love the little knob that I've got on the top of my peck on the cheek beret. It's got a little knob on the top. It's top down. And I thought, I could do that. I could do a beret that goes with it, and like a sloppy beret. I haven't worn a sloppy beret for years. Maybe I would like to wear a sloppy beret. Anyway, my brain goes off like that. I put things into organza bags. I put them in my tub, and then I work out how on earth I'll get to them. But I'm being reasonably successful in the moment. Oh, yay. Yay. What to do next, Debs? Oh, it's so nice to see you then. The air comes right out of them because they are organza when you shrink the vacuum seal bags down. Oh, I see. That's quite good. So use a combination. Okay. All right, everybody. I will catch you next week. We're going to talk all about the Rita pattern. It will be available next week. If you want to get it at a discount, you're going to need to be on my mini mag list. Those of you in Wardrobe Toolbox, you've already got it, or you can get it now at a great discount. For the rest of you who are not in Wardrobe Toolbox, it'll be coming out next week. You'll want to jump on my mini mag list to get the discount, and that is at Wardrobe. No, it's not there. You could go there, but don't go there for this. It's trulymyrtle.com/mini mag. Go there and sign up for my mini mag, and you can jump on my list. And I will email you. I email you every Friday. If I'm not going to email you on Friday, I'll let you know. But 51 weeks out of the year, I'm going to email you. So, and also you can, you will also get a reminder about this podcast, and you can opt out of that if you don't want that reminder as well. So I'll talk to you about that next week. We'll talk about the different 2 options in the pattern. We'll talk about yarn choices, and we'll talk about sizing and that kind of stuff. So we'll do that next week. And if you have a question for me and you want me to answer your knitting question, then you can also head to the website trulymyrtle.com/ask, A-S-K. Write that down, ask. And you can ask me a question and I will answer you on the podcast. So you're more than welcome to do that, and I just collate all those up and answer them. When there's questions there, I will answer them here. Alrighty, everybody, have a really happy week. Do as much knitting as me. That's what I say. Do as much as me. I'm trying to do a lot of knitting. I am so enjoying myself. I am having a blast. Tomorrow is Friday, and tomorrow I've decided is going to be my do whatever you feel like day. And I was doing that for a bit, and then I stopped because I got really busy, and now I'm just determined I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to go out with one of my girls tomorrow for a bit and do some things with her. But I'm also planning to give my sewing table a really good tidy and get stuck into some things over there. And if I feel like knitting, I'll knit. If I feel like sewing, I'll sew. And if I feel like doing whatever, it's just my day. I actually have signed up to the art gallery emails. I thought maybe I'll go to the art gallery sometimes. I'll do all sorts of things. All right, everybody, I'm going to talk to you later. Happy knitting. Catch you later. Bye.